Hi, this is Christy James, and this is my participating video introduction. Um, in our meeting that we went into, our participants, um, among myself, is Julie Nelson, our special education school counselor, Dee Widener, who is our diagnostician for our high school, and Rebecca Hackney. She is our 9th and 10th grade CBI teacher, and I am the 11th and 12th grade CBI teacher. So we came together for the meeting to be able to try to decide what we need to do since our school district has a brand new high school. Our district is expanding, and our special education area is really had a lot of growth in the last 3 to 5 years. It seems that our district has gotten pretty popular with parents wanting to put their students in our district due to our special education programs. Having the new high school has created an issue with um, how do we want our kids divided up in several different areas. So our purpose is of the meeting is to be able to try to make some decisions based on the needs of our students, whether they're behavioral issues, if they're on the autism spectrum, if they are more medically fragile, such as tube feeding and wheelchairs. Um, their toiletry needs have to be met 3 or 4 times a day. Students that also just work, and then along with the low, I forgot to mention that along with the low functioning students, are those students just needing sensory needs met due to the low functioning level that they are. And then finally is, do we just have a separate job coaching class? The second area that we wanted to cover was, how does that look divided up between both high schools, MHS and Heritage High School? How many teachers do we need? Do we need to hire a certified teacher that just teaches job coaching? But along with that, that job coach would need to get a CDL license to be able to transport students from campuses, to and from campuses, and then to and from work. So, some of their questions that we wanted to cover was, what do we, how do we divide that up with what budget we have? Do we make each campus have a separate job coach? Do we have one job coach that goes and job coaches at both campuses, which would mean actually one person driving, and there would be 4 different classrooms that he or she would pull from each campus, get them to jobs, make modifications or accommodations on their job site, and be able to back off being on the job site, and that student be successful on their own. And eventually your ultimate goal is, as a jobs coach, is to be able to just go back and check up on those students, talk to the employers, see if there's any needs. Does something need to be updated? Does something need to be modified? Are there any behavioral issues? How is the student, do they need visuals put in place? What does that student need to be successful? So your ultimate goal is for that job coach to be able to just go back and follow up. So those are some of the questions we were wanting to ask. But before that can even be addressed is, how do we divide up these students in both campuses? Do we place our lower functionings with one teacher and move some kids from Heritage over to MHS? Or do we move students from MHS over to Heritage? And all of the lower functioning students go to one class, all of the autistic spectrum students go to another class, and then the students that are higher functioning, non-autistic spectrum students, to be able to get their academic needs met. That includes being mainstreamed, maybe in some resource math, resource English. How does that all look? Those are what we're trying to decide in this meeting. We want to look at numbers and what students are going to be coming up on moving up from the elementaries, from the junior high. One other area that is another concern of ours is what are parents' expectations? What do they expect for us to teach their student for order for them to be successful when they do leave and graduate high school? So some areas that again are some concerns of mine are, you know, my main concern is how are we going to meet all of our students' needs because of the variety of levels in the special education umbrella. Again, how do we meet all of those needs? We are also need to take a look at the budget to see, do we need to, write some grants? Do we need to go to the school board, ask for some more money, hire another job coach? Do we need to hire more paras? Do we need to hire another teacher? So what we're doing in this meeting is discussing what's coming up. Our main concern with all of us is that our students' academic needs are met, but basically, and most importantly, to all of us, is, are they getting what they need? How are we going to achieve that goal of our students getting what they need to be successful when they leave high school? Okay? There are 4 of us in this meeting, so there's, different outlooks, different opinions about how all of that looks. Again, what I worry about, or some of my concerns are, we can sit and discuss all this, but our budget may not even warrant for us to, maybe we're jumping the gun of deciding what needs to be done at each campus. The budget, again, may not even warrant us to hire another teacher, hire a job coach, be able to pay for more fuel for the school bus. Going across town, that's at least 5 to 7 miles one way. Midlothian is spread out. One campus is on the south side, one campus is on the west side of town. So there's a lot more involved in the cost of fuel. So that's another big area. Some of the questions that I want answered are, again, budget. What do we see coming up in the needs of our students? Which is great because we do have a spreadsheet where we have each student color-coded to know if they're severe, autistic, Down syndrome, or some of them have very, very low functioning. Do they have seizures? Do they have a magnetic strip that will stop the seizures? Maybe some of them are, again, just behavioral issues. So there's a lot involved in being able to find out what we need to make these students successful. So some of the achievements that we want to look at, or that we want to see that our students have, are what is our vision of our special ed population look like to us? What do we want it to look like to us? Some of our parents visualize their students working out in the community and living in group homes. Some of our parents have said that their students going to live with them, and that they will find them a part-time job, and then some of them will go to a day hab. So you have some parents that have the transition area worked out. Some parents don't. So that's another issue that's going to lead us into where each student should be placed. Again, I don't want this meeting to be one that we've jumped the gun, so to say, and we've talked about all this, but then we can't implement what we need to implement for our students to be successful. To me, if maybe we need to look at the budget first. So those are some questions too that I think that we need to, look at that. So one way that we need to look at is we also need to take a look at our campus vision. Do we want our special needs students to be mainstreamed as much as possible? Do we want them to be coursed out classes? Do we want most of their academic needs to be met and taught through the CBI teacher? Or do we want some of them to go to out classes and participate with their peers? So those are some other questions that we will be answering, or that we would want to try to answer in this. So one of our areas is being able to look at what we all for visualize. Then we need to take what this meeting is about and go to the director of special ed. Maybe we need to write some grants to get some funds to be able to start. Whether it be we need to buy another school bus, do we need to hire another job coach? Would that grant money go towards a teacher's position? Would the grant money go towards a new para position? There's a lot involved with being able, when you introduce or you have a new campus, but you have so many, your staff is limited. I guess that's what I really want to say is our staff is a little bit limited as to what we can do right now until we do get more funding to be able to fund those different positions. So the different support areas that we might need are our principals helping us, parents helping us. Where do we find jobs for students? What in ARDS, maybe the question needs to be asked during an ARD is, where do you see your student in 5 to 7 years? Do you see your student working? Do you see your student living at home? Do you see them in a day hab? Maybe your student's going to be in a group home where you go visit them on the weekends. So that will drive what we need to do at different campus levels. So some of our discussions are kind of from different points of views. I think it's good that our diagnostician is here. That way, maybe with upcoming ARDS and ARDS next year, that she can ask those important questions to the parents. Because to me, we want to meet the needs of the parents, because parents' goals drive what our students are going to be, what program they're going to be going into, and what area is best for them. Do they see their student, again, working full-time and living in a day hab? Maybe they're going to work full-time and live at home. So there's a lot of different aspects. It's a lot of brainstorming in order to be able to get all this done. So, having said all that, I'm excited what we're going to be doing in this meeting. I do have, again, some of my concerns are we jumping the gun at planning or even talking about our numbers and the different variety of functioning levels that we have when we may not even have the funds to be able to divide the students up the way we would like to see them divided up. So thank you.